Football's the game now on BBC One with Gabby Logan in charge of today's final score.
Relegation.
He was one of the heroes of the afternoon.
Applause from the away supporters. The latest score is Wimbledon. Go through to the Premier.
John Terry's tears, we all remember.
It was a crucial week. Manchester United 4, Blackpool 2.
Hello and welcome on this glorious Saturday afternoon to Final Score. We're having a cracking afternoon in the Premier League and beyond. If you've just joined us, there's so much for you to catch up on that I won't delay, apart from to say that Martin Keown and Garth Crooks are flying, obviously inspired by the visit of Her Majesty the Queen to our studios here in Salford yesterday. The lunchtime kickoff in the Premier League was at Stamford Bridge, an important one it was too, affecting that all-important latest scores in the Premier League then, and it's Arsenal 2, Aston Villa 0. Goals from Kieran Gibbs and Theo Walcott mean Arsenal are heading for their 7th league win in a row. They haven't done that since 2007. Bolton 2, Blackburn Rovers 1. A brace from defender David Wheater early on, but Bolton 2-0 up against their relegation rivals. But Blackburn Rovers have pulled one back, and it is a tight game with plenty of emotion around the Reebok this afternoon. Chelsea, Tottenham, you know about. Liverpool trailing to Wigan, 2-1. Second bottom Wigan leading there thanks to goals from Sean Maloney and Gary Caldwell. Luis Suarez had equalised for the Reds before having a goal disallowed for deliberate handball. Norwich 2, Wolves 1. Wolves had taken the lead at Carrow Road through Matt Jarvis, but 2 goals from Grant Holt have put the Canaries ahead. And Sunderland leading QPR 2-0. Nicholas Bentner heading the Black Cats in front before Jibril Cissé earned his 2nd red card of the season for another wild tackle. James McLean has just added a 2nd. And Swansea are trailing at the Liberty Stadium through a Leighton Baines free kick for Everton. So let's head to our reporters around the ground. And of course, there was a much thought for Fabrice Muamba.
Afternoon here at the Reebok. Both sets of fans as well. Blackburn Rovers fans included, chanting the name of Fabrice Muamba throughout the match. A match that looked to be almost beyond Blackburn Rovers at half-time. They trailed to 2 first-half headed goals from David Wheater, both from corners. Both powered past Paul Robinson, and there have been chances at both ends. Martin Petrov has really starred for Bolton today, but Rovers got one back. Stephen Nzonzi heading in from a trademark Morton Gams-Pedersen long throw to nod beyond Adam Bogdan. Rovers not really throwing the kitchen sink at it yet, though, Gabby. Yakubu often playing up by himself with Junior Hoylett trying to join in. They're not really going for it yet, but the longer this goes on, the more they will do so.
Well, perhaps the big story of the day is going to be at Anfield. It certainly is at the moment, Damien Johnson.
Yeah, Wigan refusing to go quietly from the Premier League. They lead 2-1 and remain on course for a first Anfield win and crucial points towards survival. Sean Maloney put them ahead from the penalty spot after Victor Moses was kicked in the face as he attempted to head goalwards. Suarez equalised with a scuffed finish. The Uruguay striker thought he'd grabbed another with a header disallowed for handball or a push, not sure. And Wigan captain Gary Caldwell up from the back found space in the Liverpool area, showed great composure to finish past Rayner. The natives are getting restless here. Wigan a good value and an upset on the cards.
Let's go to the Emirates. Arsenal cruising towards that 7th win in a row. Jonathan Ledyard.
They are. They were dominant in the first half. Could have been 4-0, frankly, and Villa didn't really offer one shot. But if Arsenal fans were expecting something similar in the second, they've been a bit disappointed because Villa have been allowed into the game a lot more. We've seen more for Brighton. They've used 2 substitutes, Villa. They've brought on Weimann and Gardner, and the quality of their play and the menace is better as Ramsey shoots just wide. Good chance, but that said, the quality at times of the Arsenal fan football has been outstanding. At one stage there were 30 passes almost knitting from left to right. Brilliant, but only 2-0.
Let's go straight to the Stadium of Light, though. Steve Sutton with a goal.
Yes, we've had 2 goals since you last came over, Gabby. One just this moment. An easy finish for Stefan Sessegnon. That made it 3-0. A few minutes before that, James McLean making it 2. Sessegnon and McLean were pressing on the QPR goal. McLean's first shot deflected back to him. Persistence. He lobbed it over Paddy Kenny into the goal. Sunderland 3, Queen's Park Rangers 0.
And another goal at the Liberty Stadium. Steve Lee.
Yeah, Swansea 0, Everton 2. A real off day for the Swans, who are aiming for 4 straight Premier League victories. Nicky Jelavic has just made it 2 after great work from Fellaini inside the box. Leighton Baines had scored the first one, an expert free kick, his 5th of the season. Swansea looking decidedly off colour. They trail Everton 2-0.
Let's go to Carrow Road. Andrew James can give us the full story there.
Yes, it's Norwich City 2, Wolves 1, but really the story of the day is about Grant Holt. 12 league goals now for him. Only Wayne Rooney has scored more as an English striker in the Premier League. But Wolves went ahead. Matt Jarvis early in the first half giving Wolves the lead after their dreadful results of late, of course. But within a minute, Norwich were level as Holt, Messi-esque, chipped the ball over the goalkeeper before heading the rebound home. And then right at the end of the first half, a penalty awarded against Egert Jonsson for handball in the Wolves defence gave Holt a chance for a second from the penalty spot. There's been half chances in the second half, Gabby, but it's still Norwich in control, and after a run of just 1 win at home in the last 6 in the Premier League, they'll be hoping to get all 3 today. Norwich 2, Wolves 1.
A few surprising results, well, not results, score lines at the moment. If they end up being results, will be quite surprising. But the first one I think we should talk about is at Anfield.
Well, the more I watch it, the more I can't believe it, really, because Wigan seem to be bossing the game. They've taken control of this game. They're leading at the moment. This is a team that's in the bottom 3 against a Liverpool side that's supposedly...
fans are getting restless as well, aren't they?
Yeah, they are, but Liverpool at the moment are in free fall. They lost badly in midweek and they're struggling at the moment. And quite frankly, the team most likely to score at the moment is I have to say, is Wigan.
They haven't won a Premier League game since the end of January, Martin, and they're in Europa League football next season because of the League Cup, obviously. They're still competitive in the FA Cup. Is there a sense that the league is, it's done and dusted for them? There's nothing more they can get out of it?
It's almost the curse of the Carling Cup. We saw Birmingham, didn't we, go out of the Premiership after they won it last year. No, I think we're looking for another Steven Gerrard moment to get them back into it. At the moment, Wigan looking very good value for 2-1 up at the moment. OK, there's a goal at the Stadium of Light. Steve Sutton.
Well, dare we wonder, Gabby, it's Sunderland 3, Queen's Park Rangers 1 is the remarkable comeback on. A free kick to Queen's Park Rangers, beautifully curled into the net by the substitute Akos Buzaki. It's Sunderland 3, QPR 1.
Well, QPR's goal there hasn't affected their position in the bottom 3. As things stand, they're still there on 25 points. Wigan also on 25 points, but Bolton Wanderers would be out this evening if they can keep that lead against Blackburn Rovers, who are 2 points above them. It's been a heck of a 7 days and a heck of a day for Bolton Wanderers.
Yeah, and you talk about inspiration coming out of an emotionally charged stadium there today. Wheater scoring 2 goals. Whenever we think we'd say that. 2 very similar goals, crosses. And they've been outstanding today.
Especially in the back of a really good run of form from Blackburn Rovers. 2 wins on the bounce, 2 clean sheets. They didn't come into this shy of confidence, did they?
They didn't really start the game, though. It was all Bolton in the first half. Of course, they've grabbed a goal back now, Blackburn, but Bolton looking good values just at the moment.
Who would have thought 7 days later a boy in the hospital will be watching his team, doing very well, hopefully win, and the response and the uplift he must have had watching the game must be fantastic. 7 days later,
really
amazing.
Isn't it? Let's go to the St Mary's. You can see there Billy Sharp has got his 2nd for Southampton at the top of the Championship. Tony Husband can tell us all about it.
Yes, his 2nd with 15 minutes to go. Could be a really significant day in the title race in the 2nd tier. Sharp came into this game still as Doncaster's top scorer thanks to his 10 goals earlier in the season. Moved here in January, but he's really lit the touch paper here today against his former club. Headed in shortly after half-time from a corner. He could have actually had a hat-trick because he missed an absolute sitter after that midway through the period. And then just a few moments ago, he got the better of Habib Bey and with a bouncing ball in the penalty area, lashed it in. Southampton now looking at results elsewhere, but inching ever closer to the Premier League. You'd feel they lead a Doncaster side who are struggling now at the foot of the table by 2-0, and we've got 13 minutes to play.
And West Ham, who were once so close to Southampton, at 1 point today were 5 points adrift of 2nd place, but they've made a comeback at Turf Moor. James Mason.
Indeed, they have. 2 second-half goals from Kevin Nolan and James Tompkins have turned this game on its head after the Hammers trailed 2-0 at half-time and looked as if they were about to lose a 9-game unbeaten run. Marvin Bartley and Martin Patterson gave the home side a comfortable half-time lead, despite West Ham hitting the post and having an effort ruled out in the first half as Burnley come close with Martin Patterson. But Nolan
and chipped Lee Grant to get them back into the game before James Tompkins side-footed home in the box. And this game now could go either way, but it's West Ham who look the likely to go on and win this. Burnley 2, West Ham United 2.
Will they get that winner, or will they get their 5th draw on the bounce? Let's go to the Majeski Stadium. Tony Lockwood, Reading looking good for 3 points there and cementing second place with every win.
Absolutely, Gabby. Reading 3, Blackpool 1, a game that promised goals, hasn't disappointed. 4 so far, 2 of those in the space of 5 minutes in the first half. Put Reading in firm control. Ian Hart struck the opener, well positioned to steer the ball past Matt Gilks, the visiting keeper, after Joby McAnuff hit the post. Then within minutes, centre-half Alex Pearce inside the 6-yard box and unmarked scored Reading's second to expose Blackpool's defensive failings. There was a way back, it looked, for Lomana Trezeloir, 25 yards out, hammering a spectacular reply to give Blackpool a route back in this contest. But despite early second half pressure, Ian Holloway's side caught out by a set piece. Ian Hart's free kick headed in by Mikkel Ledgerwood inside the last 10. It's Reading 3, Blackpool 1.
Coventry's second goal of the game, an important one for matters at the bottom of the Championship. You'll hear about Oliver Norwood's on 77 minutes very soon, but let's get reaction from the lunchtime kick-off in the Premier League at Stamford Bridge. Jonathan Pearce asking the questions.
Harry, very good point at Stamford Bridge always, but do you think you did enough to win the game?
I thought we played well today, John. You know, I was really pleased with the way we played. I thought we kept the ball great, and the longer the game went on, I thought we looked the more likely. You know, they were always dangerous. They got it up to Drogba early from the back, and he's always a threat backing into you, getting second balls. But I thought we passed it well today and created some good chances. And their keeper's made a couple of great saves. The save at the end, I felt from Gareth, bottom corner was a fantastic save. The ball pitching just in front of him, but that's why he's a top goalkeeper, check. It was a fantastic save.
Good point or disappointing point from your point of view?
We're disappointed that we didn't win, but I think it's a fair result because both teams tried to win the game and had chances to win it as well. So I think the draw is probably correct.
Very tight, wasn't it, in the first 40 minutes, really? Is that because of the enormous importance of the game?
Yeah, probably in the first half, both teams were a bit too careful, and I think we raised the level of our game in the second half and tried to hurt them a little bit more, but we didn't have quite enough clear chances to actually win the game.
Just before half-time, you weren't stopped once, but twice in a couple of seconds.
Yeah, there's a big chance I have to score that goal. So simple as that. And I'm really disappointed, but that's football.
We needed a positive result today. We was obviously looking for the win. We knew how big the game was, but we've got a point. And yeah, like you said, I managed to get that one off the line, but make amends for my early mistake, I think, for stepping up. So it was nice to rectify that.
Roberto Di Matteo said they had to win if they wanted to keep their hopes of Champions League football next season alive. Is that it for you, for them?
Yeah, probably in terms of any chance of threatening United or City, but certainly top 4.
You still think they can?
It all depends what sort of Tottenham Hotspur we've got between now and the end of the season. So everything to play for.
Got to go to Arsenal, haven't they, Chelsea? I think really today Tottenham delighted that they've now turned that around. That could be them turning their season around. 3 very difficult games at the top of the table. Of course, Stoke, they're a bit indifferent.
OK, there's a red card at Carrow Road. Andrew James can tell us a bit more.
Yeah, it's an important one. They all are, aren't they? But it's particularly important because it's Grant Holt of Norwich City, whose 2 goals have really turned the game round in Norwich's favour. He tackled Michael Kitely, who, of course, has had more than his fair share of injury problems at Wolves in recent times. It was a tackle that came in from behind. It was on the ground. Didn't seem to be the conventional type of 2-footer tackle that we've heard so much about this season. But it sent Kitely crippling to the ground. He instantly was calling for help. Mark Clattenburg went for a yellow, and with Holt already having seen one, it was a second yellow, and Holt was off with the red card. Norwich down to 10 men. Kitely is walking mercifully for him, as I say, after all those problems he's had with injuries. But Norwich down to 10 men. They still lead 2-1 though, Gabby.
So a chance for Wolves to get back into this one with just minutes to go on the clock. A point for them.
It's helpful.
Would it take them? Would it win of Wigan, wouldn't it? If Wigan stay as things are at the moment.
Absolutely. Every point makes a difference.
It keeps them in touch. If Wigan can win, they go to 25 points, of course. And if Bolton win theirs, they're on 26. So it's getting very tight. You need a result there today, Wolves.
Let's go to the Rico. A couple of goals there since the last time we spoke to Andy May. And this would be a big win for Coventry and their battle to survive the Championship.
Absolutely unbeaten in 5 as it stands. Andy Thorne's men. Oliver Norwood, as you mentioned, firing in the second goal this
this afternoon in the Midlands. It was one that really made the net bulge into the top roof, it was, of the Portsmouth net. He also got a last-minute equaliser away at Cardiff a few days ago. Two really important goals. The home side's first came from Gary McSheffrey on the break. He side-footed home from close range, scoring his 8th of the season in all competitions. This was after Pompey dominated in the first half, but they trail now by 2 goals.
Let's go to Vicarage Road. Jackie Oakley's seen something of a comeback from Watford today.
I have. It looked as though Ipswich were going to continue their good recent run of 5 games unbeaten, but Watford have come from a goal down, J. Emmanuel Thomas in the first half, to turn this around completely. Sean Murray, a highly promising 18-year-old who's born in Watford but plays for Republic of Ireland under 19s, played really well and finished neatly after good work by Dini Bouaben and Iwalumo. And then Troy Deeney has curled the ball into the top right-hand corner after a dreadfully short back pass by Carlos Edwards. It's Watford 2, Ipswich 1.
Let's go to the City Ground now. Naz Premji, are you looking at a Brighton win there?
Well, it's they're holding on, it has to be said. Nottingham Forest 0, Brighton 1. Sam Vokes goal separates the two sides. Since then, Gabby, Forest have been knocking on the door. Ardley Guediora with a shot which Brezovan found too hot to handle. He punched out. He then, the same midfielder, hit a post. Ishmael Mur's scuff shot has just hit the other post. Forest are doing everything they can but score here. Brighton hanging on in what could be a valuable 3 points in their surge towards promotion. It's Nottingham Forest 0, Brighton 1.
Let's go to the Gal Farm Stadium at Huddersfield with the lead over Charlton, who are 9 points clear at the top. But Seth Bennett, the boys here feeling that there's something of a little wobble going on, a nervousness with Charlton, wanting to get over the line.
Oh, without doubt, this was a really good opportunity for them to really push themselves into that automatic promotion place and make sure there wasn't going to be any further problems for them. They only needed 5 wins from here to claim that title outright, irrespective of other results, but the wheels have come off somewhat here, having conceded that penalty in the first half that Jordan Rhodes scored, converted it very nicely. In fact, he's had 3 or 4 good chances in this one. Charlton have had a man sent off in the second half in Darryl Russell. That was for a kick after a challenge by Anthony Kay. It was needless. Chris Powell has been a little bit frustrated. Very interested to see what he has to say about his team's performance after this game, but certainly they're second best, and they're second best on the scoreboard. Huddersfield 1, Charlton 0.
Let's go to Rugby Park. Kilmarnock buoyed by their win in the Cup last week with the lead over Motherwell. And this has all kinds of ramifications for tomorrow's Old Firm, Roddy Forsyth.
It does, Gabby. The Kilmarnock fans are standing to applaud their side. They've followed Sunday's League Cup victory over Celtic at Hampden Park with a 2-0 win. It's not quite finished yet. We're in the final minute, but it should be a 2-0 win over Motherwell here at Rugby Park. And Kilmarnock, I must say, have thoroughly deserved this. Now, of course, what that means, Paul Heffernan's 2 goals, taking his tally to 16 for the season. What this means is that Celtic, with a victory over Rangers tomorrow, would win the title at Ibrox in the 3rd Old Firm derby of the season. I can guarantee that Strathclyde Police didn't want that to happen, and even more so, Rangers fans don't want that to happen. Of course, it isn't a foregone conclusion. Rangers have players back tomorrow, some of their more experienced players who've been out with injury and suspension. They'll need them all. The Celtic fans are planning a party, and you can be quite sure right now that the giant inflatable cakes and champagne bottles and jellies will be being looked out for this game tomorrow, because this is certainly going to end in a Kilmarnock victory, and Motherwell will not be able to prevent Celtic annexing that title tomorrow if they beat Rangers. It's at the moment Kilmarnock 0, Motherwell 2.
You just can't take your eyes off what's going on at Anfield. It's become a very open game, Damien Johnson. Liverpool throwing everything at this. Sterling's just come on, and Liverpool just going for the goal, which would only be an equaliser.
That's right. There's a touch of desperation about their work, really. Suarez just went closer. An effort saved at his near post by Al-Habsi, but Wigan still pressing as well on occasions. Watson had an effort blocked a few moments ago. The home fans getting on Liverpool's back of late. Raheem Sterling, as you mentioned, a man who's had a few run-ins, reportedly, with Kenny Dalglish, is on to add a bit of zip down the left-hand side. There are, a minute, just over a minute plus injury time remaining, and Liverpool getting increasingly desperate. Can Wigan hang on? 2-1 they lead.
Let's go to Carrow Road, of course. Norwich down to 10 men with Grant Holt off the pitch. Are Wolves capitalising on that? Andrew James.
Gabby, they're trying their best to. They were given a free kick right on the edge of the box after a foul by Zach Whitbread a few moments ago. It was so close that Mark Clattenburg could perhaps have almost given a penalty to Wolverhampton Wanderers, but it was the free kick, and that chance was squandered. Still some confusion about the card for Grant Holt. Was it 2 yellows? Was it a straight red mark? Clattenburg certainly showed yellow straight away, but there's a theory that he just couldn't find his red card. Still, though, Norwich in front, Norwich 2, Wolves 1.
What a comeback on the cards at Pride Park. Darren Ambrose on 90 minutes for Crystal Palace. Any sign of a third? Ivan Gaskell.
Oh, very much so. Derby had this one in the bag. 3-0 up with, 11 minutes left. It looked comfortable. I could swear that I'd seen the Derby defenders breaking out a packet of cigars among themselves. And, well, the Derby keeper, Frank Fielding, up to that point could have been wearing carpet slippers. It was that comfortable. But suddenly it went wrong. Fielding blotted his copybook, picking up a back pass from Roberts, which was converted after a quickly taken free kick by Martin. And now Ambrose, with a terrific finish, has given the vocal Crystal Palace fans who never stopped urging their players on a real hope they might even pinch something from this game. 3-2 with a few minutes of added time to go.
Let's go to the King Power Stadium. Andy Barwell, how's it going?
Well, it's 2-1 to Leicester, 2 minutes to go, Gabby. Leicester came from a goal down here. Matty Fryatt scored against his old side, giving Hull the lead. Then 2 very, very special goals for Leicester. First one from Lloyd Dyer, and then Ben Marshall, great one from him from 25 yards out. But Leicester have been playing the last half an hour or so with 10 men after Neil Danson, who was skipping the side today. He was sent off for serious foul play. Substitute Robbie Brady went so close to getting an equaliser for Hull. His header found the post. Mind you, substitute Sol Bamba's also found the woodwork for Leicester, who are hanging on. Leicester 2, Hull 1.
Let's go to the Riverside. Paul Addison, it's all square, but Bristol City down to 10 men.
Yes, they are. Ryan McGivern was sent off for a professional foul. He dragged back Lukas Jutkovic earlier on. City took the lead, surprisingly, in the first half. Hogan Ephraim scored the goal. He's on loan from QPR. Mallory Martin cracked in the equaliser for Middlesbrough, but this could go either way. We're into 5 minutes of added on time, still 1-1.
OK, let's go to the Den. Leeds with the lead. Steve May looking good for it?
Yeah, still playing here. All happening in the second half. The goal, simplicity itself. Snodgrass set it up for Ross McCormack from close range. Millwall were then awarded a penalty, which Lonergan brilliantly saved going to his left from Darius Henderson. Next minute, the Millwall skipper, Paul Robinson, we've actually got 2 Paul Robinsons playing in this game, hit the crossbar. So after that thumping on Tuesday, we may be looking now at Neil Warnock's second win as the Leeds manager. It's Leeds leading here 1-0.
It's all over at the Reebok Stadium. Let's get the lowdown from Richard Askham.
Yes, Gabby, it's finished Bolton 2, Blackburn 1, an emotional occasion with applause and chants of support for Fabrice Muamba from both sets of fans. Still going on now after the final whistle, and a match decided by an unlikely source of goals. David Wheater with 2 headers from corners in the first half. Poorly marked in the middle of the goal for both. The big defender powered both past Paul Robinson. Blackburn found it hard to get much of a foothold in a match in which Martin Petrov provided a real cutting edge for Wanderers. Rovers did get back into it through Stephen Nzonzi, who nodded in from a Morton Gams Pedersen long throw, but couldn't build on it, with most neutrals probably rooting for Bolton today. They have a crucial 3 points.
What an emotional week it's been for them. Another goal at the Emirates. It must be in the dying moments of the game. Jonathan Ledyard.
In stoppage time, Mikel Arteta, free kick just after the 5th Aston Villa player was booked. Song brought down, Arteta stepped up. 3-0, should have been more earlier on, but that says it all, really. Villa pretty ordinary today, to say the least. Arsenal mostly dazzling, particularly in the first half.
Have you given it?
And it's all over at the Stadium of Light. No comeback for Mark Hughes and his men today. Steve Sutton.
No, it's Sunderland 3, Queen's Park Rangers 1. Sunderland led by the only goal of the first half, and Nicholas Benton ahead of Mark Hughes, not happy with the defending there. It all went terribly pear-shaped for Queen's Park Rangers just before the hour when Gibril Cisse was given a straight red card for a 2-footed tackle on Fraser Campbell. No doubt in Mike Jones' mind that it was a sending off, and Cisse can really have no dispute about it, although he did shake his head as if he was being hard done by. After that, Sunderland got 2 goals, James McLean and Stefan Sessignon, before Teo got an equaliser, a well-taken free kick, a consolation, although in Queen's Park Rangers' precarious position, now no consolation at all. Sunderland 3, Queen's Park Rangers 1.
Norwich had gone 4 games without a win. They've stopped that today. They got one at Carrow Road. Andrew James.
Yes, it's their second home win in 7 now, and it's Norwich surely safe in the Premier League with 39 points, but they had to come from behind against a plucky Wolves side who've been in dreadful form. Matt Jarvis gave them a lead early in the first half, but they failed to concentrate, and within a minute found themselves pegged back to 1-1. Great finish from Grant Holt after he'd hooked the ball over goalkeeper Wayne Hennessy. And then a penalty in first half stoppage time after handball by Eggert Jonsson was converted by Holt to give Norwich that comfortable 2-1 half-time lead. There was plenty of half chances for both sides, and Holt got himself sent off for a silly lunge on one of the Wolves players. In fact, Michael Kitely it was, towards the end of the game. He got a red for that, but Norwich hung on and they take all 3 points. Norwich 2, Wolves 1.
And still, Swansea can't beat Everton. That's 15 attempts now at the Liberty Stadium. Steve Lee, it's all over.
Yes, it is. Swansea 0, Everton 2. Bad day at the office of Swansea and Brendan Rodgers. Only their 3rd home league defeat of the season. Everton, professional, resolute throughout. They stepped on the gas in the second half after soaking up some early Swansea pressure. Their performance even more impressive given their big FA Cup replay on Tuesday. The Everton goals came from Leighton Baines, a superb free kick, curled to perfection over Vorm. The second, the result of some clever work, amazing footwork from Fellaini in the box. Jelavic scored his 2nd goal for Everton since his move from Rangers. Everton worthy winners then for Swansea after 3 Premier League wins in a row, a rare off day. Swansea 0, Everton 2.
7 league wins on the bounce for Arsenal now. Jonathan Legend saw it.
Untouchable.
Well, the last final whistle to blow today is at Anfield. It's over.
Challenge for a ball in the penalty area. Suarez swept an equaliser in just after the break, and we thought Liverpool were back in it. He had another effort ruled out for a handball. Gary Caldwell was the hero, though, forward for a set piece, the Wigan captain. He showed great composure when the ball broke to him, cut inside and fired past Pepe Reina. Liverpool pressed for an equaliser, increasingly desperate in their work. 5 minutes of injury time played. They couldn't find one. Wigan live to fight another day. 2-1 they've won.
What a big win for Wigan that could be come the final day of reckoning on the 13th of May. Let's go to the St Mary's Stadium now. Another win for Southampton. Tony Husband.
Yes, one that will be confirmed in a matter of seconds by the referee, because we're 5 minutes into stoppage time at the end of the game, but Southampton seemingly refusing to let the chasing pack catch that. This is going to be their 7th win in 8 now, all thanks today to a brace from Billy Sharp, who was signed from Doncaster in January. He's emerged from the shadow of Ricky Lambert in the South Coast sunshine today as the full-time whistle goes. Sharp's only regret maybe that he didn't actually get a hat-trick on the day, because he did miss a great chance in between his 2 goals. As for Doncaster, they rarely threatened after a bright first half. Their relegation fight continues, but the 3 points confirmed for Southampton mean that they can see Premier League football starting to appear on their horizon. Southampton 2, Doncaster 0.
Now, for a special sports relief final score, we have a very special guest results announcer. We're always looking for the X Factor on this show, and so for one night only, we have a man who says Ollie Murs like no other, who made Wagner sound classy. He is Peter Dickson. Take it away, Peter.
Thank you very much, Gabby. Here we go. And starting with the Barclays Premier League. Arsenal 3, Aston Villa 1. Bolton Wanderers 2, Blackburn Rovers 1. Chelsea 0, Tottenham Hotspur 0. Liverpool 1, Wigan Athletic 2. Norwich City 2, Wolves 1. Stoke City and Manchester City is a late kick-off. Sunderland 3, Queen's Park Rangers 1. Swansea City 0, Everton 2. Now we move to the N-Power Championship. Barnsley 1, Peterborough United 0. Burnley 2, West Ham United 2. Coventry City 2, Portsmouth City 0. Derby County 3, Crystal Palace 2. Leicester City 2, Hull City 1. Middlesbrough 1, Bristol City 1. Millwall 0, Leeds United 1. Nottingham Forest 1, Brighton and Hove Albion 1. Reading 3, Blackpool 1. Southampton 2, Doncaster Rovers 0. Watford 2, Ipswich Town 1. And in N-Power League 1, Brentford 2, Rochdale 0. Colchester United 1, Carlisle United 1. Huddersfield Town 1, Charlton Athletic 0. Leyton Orient 0, Sheffield Wednesday 1. Oldham Athletic 1, AFC Bournemouth 0. Preston North End 1, Bury 1. Scunthorpe United 0, Notts County 0. Tranmere Rovers 2, Exeter City 0. Walsall 1, Stevenage 1. Wycombe Wanderers 1, Milton Keynes Dons 1. And the latest score, Yeovil Town 0, Hartlepool United 1. N-Power League 2 next, and AFC Wimbledon 4, Burton Albion 0. Bradford City 2, Gillingham 2. Bristol Rovers 1, Southend United 0. Cheltenham Town 0, Oxford United 0. Crawley Town 3, Rotherham United 0. Dagenham Red 2, Accrington Stanley 1. Hereford United 0, Crewe Alexandra 1. Morecambe 0, Shrewsbury Town 1. Northampton Town 0, Plymouth Argyle 0. Torquay United 2, Port Vale 1. The Blue Square Bet Premier, Atherton Town 2, Cambridge United 1. Barrow 0, Braintree Town 4. Ebbsfleet United 1. Kettering Town 0. Fleetwood Town 2, Mansfield Town 0. Hayes and Yedding United 0, AFC Telford United 0. Kidderminster 3, Darlington 1. Lincoln City 2, Newport County 0. Luton 1, Grimsby Town 1. Stockport County 4, Bath City 0. Tamworth 1, Gateshead 1. Wrexham 1, Forest Green Rovers 2. York City 1, Southport 2. Well, now we move on to the Scottish matches. Clydesdale Bank Scottish Premier League, Aberdeen 0, Inverness 1. Dunfermline 1, St Mirren 1. Hibernian 0, Dundee United 2. Kilmarnock 2, Motherwell 0. St Johnstone 2, Hearts 1. Now the Iron Brew Scottish Division 1. Ayr United 0, Greenock Morton 0. Dundee 1, Wraith Rovers 1. Falkirk 2, Livingston 5. Hammicle Academical 3, Queen of the South 0. Partick Thistle 0, Ross County 1. The Iron Brew Scottish Division 2 now. Airdrie United 2, Arbroath 0. Brecon City 1, East Fife, disappointingly 3. Cowdenbeath 4, Dumbarton 1. Forfar Athletic 4, get in. Stirling Albion 3. Stenhousemuir 1, Albion Rovers 2. And in the Iron Brew Scottish Division 3, Alloa Athletic 4, Queen's Park 0. Annan Athletic 1, Montrose 2. Clyde 0. Elgin City 2. Peterhead 1, Berwick Rangers 2. Stranraer 4, East Stirlingshire 1. Now the Corporate Sports Welsh Premier, Bangor City 2, Llanelli 2. Carmarthen Town 0, Aberystwyth Town 1. The Carling Premiership in Northern Ireland, Crusaders 1, Carrick 1. Donegal Celtic 1, Donegal Celtic 0, Cliftonville 0. Dungannon Swifts 1, Glenavon 2, Glentoran 0, Ballymena United 0, Lisburn Distillery 0, Linfield 1. And Portadown versus Coleraine, that's an evening kick-off.
Fantastic,
well,
Peter.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Stay where you are. We'll have a quick word on the red button. That was pretty much perfect, apart from you attributing Aston Villa with a goal. Are you an Aston Villa fan?
I'm not. I know nothing about football. As you can see here, no expenses have been spared. We've got 2 50-watt light bulbs and some chicken wire. But, you know, it's not the X Factor, but I enjoyed every second of it. What an honour and a privilege. Thank you for inviting me.
Don't go anywhere. We've loved having you here. And don't forget as well, that was all for Sport Relief. There is still time to donate to Sport Relief. What an incredible job you, the great British public, have done once more. Over £50 million raised last night. Go to bbc.co.uk/Sport Relief if you want to donate a little bit more. We have a late kick-off result to tell you, and that is that Hartlepool United have got the goal, got the win against Yeovil Town, and that's in League One, of course. But let's have a little look at the tables. To the top of the Premier League first. Manchester City will go top if they avoid defeat at Stoke in today's late game, with Manchester United in action against Fulham on Monday. Arsenal strengthen their grip on third. Incredible run of matches. They've had 7th straight win in a row. Chelsea missed the chance to close the gap on 4th place Tottenham earlier today. At the foot of the table, Wolves are 4 points from safety now, with Wigan still second bottom despite their first ever win at Anfield today. QPR replaced Bolton in the relegation zone, with Blackburn Rovers now just 3 points above Owen Coyle's side. And let's have a little look at the Championship. Southampton won for a 23rd time this season to stay on course for its second successive promotion. Reading returned to winning ways, and with it strengthened their grip on second place. That's because West Ham could only draw at Burnley and slip 4 points off the automatic promotion pace as a result. At the bottom, Portsmouth lost a huge relegation 6-pointer at Coventry, and they stayed bottom. Doncaster also beaten Coventry, remain in the bottom 3, but they're now just a point from safety. Let's go to League One. Charlton lost at 4th place Huddersfield, but remain in charge of their own destiny with 7 games to go. Sheffield Wednesday won to move into 2nd place above City neighbours Sheffield United. Huddersfield are a further 2 points back. At the bottom, Chesterfield didn't play. They're in Johnston's Paint Trophy final tomorrow. Exeter and Rochdale both beaten to lose further ground. Walsall drew, but they remain in relegation zone, a point adrift of Wickham. Let's go to League Two. Swindon, who have a Wembley date with Chesterfield tomorrow, continue to sit pretty at the top, although Torquay have trimmed their advantage to 4 points following victory. Shrewsbury also won. At the bottom, Hereford lost and now bottom of the Football League. Dagenham and Redbridge scored a stoppage time winner to climb out of the relegation zone at the expense of Macclesfield. Let's go to the Blue Square Premier. Fleetwood won for a 29th time this season. They're just 5 points off a century. Wrexham surprisingly beaten at home to slip 9 points off the pace. Bath, Kettering and Darlington all beaten at the bottom and have been cut adrift. Hayes and Yeading, who drew this afternoon, continue to occupy the final relegation place. And at the top of the SPL, Motherwell's defeat at Kilmarnock means Celtic can clinch the title tomorrow if they win at Rangers. Gary Lineker, fresh from his stint on Sport Relief, will be with Shearer and Dickson instead of Claudia Winkleman tonight, 10:20, of course, on BBC One. We will be going on to the red button shortly for you. We'll be discussing more, and I'm gathering, I guess, the big result of the day for you is at Anfield.
Yes, of course. Let's not forget Bolton, all the emotion that was surrounded that match. Great win for them, of course, today. But alarm bells ringing at Liverpool because they really should be winning games against Wigan.
OK, Garth will collect his thoughts, no doubt, and join us on the red button. That's it for us. We're heading, of course, to the red button now. You can have your say on 6:06 with Mark Chapman and Robbie Savage, of course. But please do join us on the red button for more reaction around the Premier Leagues. And we'll be talking to Mr. Dickson as well.